Okay, so when I sat down and watched this movie, the opening 10-minute scene that takes place in the bar, after watching that, I thought, wow, this is definitely, taken from the Twilight Zone, which I'll get into, and it was fairly decent. I thought, okay, game on. But then, sadly, the actual movie started. And oh boy, it was all downhill from there. Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV. So tonight we are talking about the movie Await the Dawn. When I sat down to watch this movie, I didn't really know much about it. I'll tell you, the first 10 minutes of this movie, I really enjoyed. It had like a Twilight Zone-y feel. I'm a huge fan of the Twilight Zone, both the original series and the movie and everything that comes with it. But this movie gave me the vibe of almost a sequel to one of my favorite episodes in the Twilight Zone called It's a Good Life. It originally, I think it's episode 73. I think it originally aired in 1963, and then it was also, I think, the second or third segment in the actual Twilight Zone, the movie, in 1983. It's the one with the little boy. The lady hits his bike on his way home, so she takes him home, and then she's introduced to his family, and they're like terrified of this little kid because he has these powers where he can like read your mind or do stuff to you physically, or just make you totally disappear if you piss him off, right? So, and I got the vibe from that episode. I think that's where this movie was largely taken from, because in the opening scene we're introduced. These people only are in the first scene, but it's Vernon Wells who is. If you don't know who Vernon Wells is, come on. But he is a barkeeper, okay, and I think they're closing up for the night. They're either closing up or opening, it doesn't matter. But him and his employee are kind of cleaning the bar up and stuff, and then the employee walks off screen, and then he comes back, and he's kind of turned into this demon-y, almost looks like an Evil Dead kind of a demon, lizardy creature sort of thing. The makeup looked fantastic. The practical makeup and effects in this movie are banging, okay? I'll give them that much, all right? And the opening scene has some good blood and guts in it, some great makeup, and we're introduced to Maggie, who is this little girl that possesses these powers, played by Hannah Strasser. We later find out in the movie that she's not really a little girl. She's this lizardy creature that's come from another dimension, you know what I mean, and is trying to bring the rest of her race over here from their dying planet. Again, great story, okay? But anyways, after the first scene, even at the end of that opening 10-minute segment, there's a nod to the Twilight Zone because she's got these shades on, these glasses, and she pulls them down to show her lizardy eyes, and then she gives the classic line,
You want to see something really scary?
And I thought, okay, I'm in for this. Opening scene, low budget. Fantastic, lots of practical, me likey, okay? But then we get into the real story, okay? And I'm going to read you the synopsis really quick. A troubled family traveling cross-country are hijacked by a desperate man, only to discover he's running from something more dangerous than he is. Okay, well, this is when we're introduced to Dee Wallace and her family, okay? She's loaded everybody up in their RV, and they're going cross-country because her daughter is a recovering junkie, and she's going through the symptoms, of withdrawal and stuff like that. So there's her husband, the daughter, I think it's her ex-boyfriend or her brother, sorry, and then his ex-girlfriend came. It's just basically they load the RV up with a bunch of redcoats from Star Trek, so this Maggie girl can kill them off. Okay, that's basically what it is. Okay, now if they would have stuck to the story of this family just fighting this little girl when they're introduced to her on the side of the road, because at the beginning they just think she's a little girl that hurt her leg, right? But it gets better because they've been hijacked, okay, by Howard, who is a scientist that has this little glass thing, okay, that lights up, and apparently this little glass thing is what Maggie's after, because Howard's a scientist, and he's the one that actually accidentally brought Maggie over into this world, and now she wants to stay here because she likes the taste of people and realizes that, you know, she can control everybody and change them and possess them and all this crazy shit. So she wants to bring the rest of her civilization over here into our realm so that they can take over the earth. It's a good story, isn't it? I think it is. Okay, but it's just, it gets so dumbed down and fucking stupid because of the terrible writing of this script. Like, I know this is low budget, okay? So they probably didn't have a ton of cash to spend on this family fighting this demon. So what do they do? They pump in a lot of filler, okay? And the filler is the fact that this recovering junkie, who's Dee Wallace's daughter, is in this is their whole reason for traveling. They could have very simply said they were just a family going on vacation, but there would be no drama there, okay? Because she's a junkie in recovering, she hates her whole family, right? Because she's going through all this pain and all this crap of trying to clean herself up. So they have to have this drama, okay? But it's just filler, because God, honestly, no one gives a fuck. No one is gonna care one little bit that this girl is a recovering junkie and that she hates everyone, and the bickerings and the squabblings back and forth between this family throughout the second act and the third act. Nobody fucking cares. Not one person is going to care. The whole reason why we're here is to see this family, you know, fight or be killed by this fucking girl Maggie. Okay, now when those scenes are happening, this movie is great. Okay, you can say what you want if you've seen it, but what really took me out of it was this bickering back and forth, this nonsensical bullshit filler that is throughout the majority of this movie and totally takes you fucking out of it. Listen, if I'm going to give this movie props for anything, it's the fucking practical gore, okay? It's fantastic, okay? And the actors, there's some big names in this movie too. Dee Wallace is in this, Bruce Davidson, Courtney Gaines is in this. Like there's some fairly big names in this, and you can tell that they are struggling with their lines. Like there's no flow. It's just filler crap that they're given as a fucking script. So again, the scenes, you know, where the family's bickering back and forth are terrible. You know, the scenes where they're fighting the girl or getting killed by her are great. You know what I mean? The practical effects are really good. There's lots of blood when there needs to be blood. That part I liked. Like really, this is honestly, it's a 20-minute movie. It really is, because that's pretty much the length of the scenes where this family's fighting this girl, except for the ending. And the ending, listen, I don't want to give spoilers, but the ending is terrible. Okay, I guess that is kind of a spoiler, but I don't know I don't know if they ran out of money or if the final reveal of what Maggie looks like when she turns into this creature, if they didn't have the money to pull it off, or if it didn't turn out how they wanted. Now, I do respect the fact that they went the practical route. I'll give them thumbs up for that. But the final creature looked terrible. It did. Basically, it's just the girl and it looks like she's got this lizardy fucking mask over. It literally looks like a mask that they got from a Halloween shop. It's horrible looking. And I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Like, this movie's bad to begin with, but they've given us some pretty good practical gore, some good kills, you know, some good head ripping and exploding and stuff like that. And you're going to give us the reveal of a $40 Halloween mask that you can go down to anywhere, Spirit Halloween, and buy. Like, really? That's your final creature look? So I don't know. I can only imagine the budget for this movie was you know, probably on the micro budget scale, but holy smokes, guys, that final reveal was awful. But again, you know, you can say the acting in this movie is not very good, but to defend the actors and actresses, they weren't given anything to work with. The writing in this movie is terrible. The way they are directed, like, to flow back and forth, like the conversations feel forced. In fact, there's some scenes where it feels like they're legitly reading cue cards for their lines. Like it's horrible. And then this is low budget, so I understand, but the explanation we're given for how Maggie got here and like it's so stupid, and it's like the director is treating his audience like a bunch of buffoons, or at least that's how I felt, to give this explanation. If the red light's on, that's bad. If the blue light's on, that's good. Okay, that's a reference from the movie. If you watch it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm thinking to myself, can this guy like dumb this movie down or make it us feel any more stupider as an audience with these lame ass explanations? I was like, what? You've got a good fucking story here, dude. Like, don't ruin it with this horrible fucking script that this dialogue that you're giving your actors and actresses. Like, come on, man. Like, if you go on the IMDb page, it's won a bunch of awards. I don't know what it was going up against, but anyways, I've gone on way too long about this movie. To give it a rating out of 10, I'd probably give it like a 4.5 out of 10. Again, the practical in this movie is great for low budget, and there's a fair amount of it, but it's just the dialogue that these actors and actresses are given and trying to work with. It's atrocious. It's amateurish, to be honest with you. It's just all filler. It really is. So anyways, again, like I always say, if you think I'm over exaggerating, go watch the movie. Okay, go rent it when it comes out. Go watch it, and then come back here and let me know if I'm exaggerating, or if I'm just full of shit or whatever. But I know I'm not, because I never am. I'm always bang on. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what this movie is. It's got way too much fucking filler dialogue in it, and it just ruins it and takes you right out of it. So, anyways, if you have seen it, let me know what you think. If you haven't, go watch it and then come back and then let me know what you think, guys. 4.5 for me. Await the dawn. And until next time, stay scared.